David, you are, I can't tell you how many people feel the same way you did.
Hey guys, here's a cool video with the legendary kickboxer turned martial arts movie star Don the Dragon Wilson. And we're going to talk about one of his more popular films, Night Hunter. Like, what the hell happened to it? What's wrong with it? And oh, make sure to stay until the end too, because Don Wilson will share some cool trivia. He will tell us about the only time he actually used a stunt double for one of his fight scenes and the reason why. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, please help support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing the video. Let me ask you this, Don, like, because I know we talked about Night Hunter earlier.
Yeah.
Right. And I did check that out, watching some of the fight scenes and stuff. So this bugged me. Why is the camera so
shaky? Director did that.
They don't need to, because you can do all your martial arts stuff. They don't need to like make it look like you don't know what you're doing. So they got to, do that.
David, you are, I can't tell you how many people feel the same way you did. You would want, martial artists say, look, Don, it made it hard to watch the fight action. And we rent the movie specifically to watch it as good as we can. Like if I made it, what if they made it blurry? Just blurry.
They might as well have, man.
Yeah, they might as well, because it's, in a way it was blurry, I guess. But yeah, Rick Jacobson, and he's a great director and very good friend of mine. I've never brought it up to him. I've never told him that over the years, you aren't the only one. It's been one after another person said, why did they shake the camera so much? Just when because here's what happens. You're waiting for the fight action because you want to see it.
Yeah.
When it happens, he makes it so it's hard to see what the hell's going on. And he had the opposite reaction. He did not realize, I guess. It's like this. Let's say they did shaky cam. You're renting a porn. And every time the sex starts happening, it goes into shaky cam. You can barely see what the hell's going on. Because when you're watching a porn, I don't want to say my movies are like porn movies, but you got a specific thing you want to see really well. And it would be the fight action. You want to see it with, you don't even want, we used to do a lot of, in the nights, we'd make this like fog. We put the smoke effect on things. And that turned out to be, me and Gary Daniels, when we fought, it was in the beginning, it was very foggy. And I thought to myself, man, people aren't going to like this. Yeah, me and Gary Daniels doing this big fight scene, climactic fight scene, the last one of the film. And it's all foggy. But luckily, the director was smart enough that was for the entry into this. It looked like a foggy thing. But when the fighting started, he cleared all that out. The smoke got cleared out. So, so it turned out me and Gary, our fight satisfied the audience. They were happy. But you're right. Why, when the audience says, now we got a fight coming up, oh, this is going to look good. And then it's hard to see. It even makes people dizzy. I think there should be a warning on it. Like if you're epileptic,
it's like an earthquake. It's literally the worst shaky cam I've seen in anything. And I understand why they would do it if you didn't know how to fight or do a fight scene. Because then it's like,
because you'd have to hide it.
But you would look good. Just put it on a damn tripod,
Look, it would have looked good, and it would have looked violent, and it would have looked realistic, and it would have really improved the overall success of the film. No doubt in my mind.
Here's an interesting thing.
But remember now,
Don,
I'm not the director. I didn't make that choice.
Yeah, no, sure. Of course, you wouldn't have made that decision. Here's an interesting parallel, though, because you mentioned, like if you were watching a porn movie, like there are a lot of similarities between that martial arts genre and porn, if you think about it, because a lot of people, at least in the 80s and 90s, weren't really going for the story. It's like, you're going to get five scenes that you really want to see, and you try to build a story around that. So there's a lot of similarities between those two genres, Yeah,
in that regard, you're correct. And also similarity in the fact that when that part of the film is revealed, you want to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
You were saying, you want to see the action. That's why we choose camera angles and lenses, because what best shows the back fist landing on the guy's face? A shot from like 30 feet away? No. A kick where the guy goes up in the air from the side kick and lands on a couch. Slow-mo or fast speed, high speed. You put on high speed, all of a sudden he's on the couch. No, slow-mo. Close up on the back fist hitting the guy in the face. We choose the lenses and the choreography to show the audience what it is they want to see from the best angle they want to see it. And then he does the shaky cam. He makes it so they can't. So, and by the way, that is one of the more talented directors I've worked with. Became a big TV producer, and good friend of mine. So he wasn't doing with anything other than the best of all intent, but that doesn't make it right.
What are you thinking?
Right? I mean, I agree with you that had we not done the shaky cam, it would have been better choice.
Yeah.
And if he wanted his fights to look extra good, add an extra camera. Always shoot with 2 cameras. That makes the editing perfect, right? When you got both cameras going to it at one time, that's why you up the look of the film and the quality of the fight action, because you can at any time cut to the close-up because it's going to perfectly match because it was shot at the exact same time.
That's a good point.
So all you would have had to do to improve the fights is get rid of the shaky cam and add another like a handheld camera with a tighter lens, a lens shooting closer for close-ups. And if you shoot the master, what they call the master, you got the scene, even if you don't have anything to cut to, but you got the scene because you shot it all at once. And nowadays, especially with the high def videos cameras they use, you can rewind it and watch it again. And you can see if it looks good to you. And if it doesn't, then you use your other camera for what they call cutaway. Closer cut to the punch, closer cut to the kick hitting the stomach. But anyway, he didn't do that. And he was a friend of mine, personal friend. I like the guy. He directed let me see, 3 of my movies. Yeah, 3 movies with me. Rick Jacobs. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But look, it wasn't such a bad choice that it lost money. The movie was very popular. People liked it. It was very soon after The Crow, because that's why he wanted the look, the long hair for me, black. And if you think, do you remember any bright sunlight scenes in The Crow? I don't.
No.
It was all at night. We were supposed to be a night shoot. That's why it's called Night Hunter. Night Hunter spent all his time in the day, in the daylight.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, I think there might have been a couple of scenes that were at night, but it's it was a monetary thing. That was not a choice of his. The producer pulled that on us.
I mean, honestly, it was successful, obviously, because your name, you already had like a track record, and people were like, oh, another Don Wilson movie. But you got to admit, like, the poster and the box art was done very good. Like, that's really what sold it, Yeah,
that's when it's, it was out. I believe it was still the video era. I don't know if it'd gone to DVD yet. It was in the mid 90s. Might have been the DVD era when it was all DVD. But it was, you know what? Actually, I conflate the DVD and the video because they used to have stores that were all DVDs and you rented them.
Mm-hmm.
It was still, quote, the same financial kind of setup as the video era, where it was you rent your videos, you return it 2 days. You rent your video. Well, they had DVDs. Remember, when the videos were gone, there were DVD stores.
Sure.
So I believe, that was the day of Night Hunter. Night Hunter was early 90s.
Oh, see, DVDs wouldn't have came out really till the PlayStation 2 came out. That was like, I was in college. That was like
90s?
No, that was like 2000, man.
Oh, DVDs?
When it got really popular. Like, nobody really bought it until the PS2 came out, because then it was kind of affordable and you get a video game system. So Night Hunter, I specifically remember seeing at the VHS copies. I'm sure they had DVDs.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, then they were back it was in the video days, Night Hunter. Yeah. You may be right. It's the mid 90s. Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing about that era, though, because this was, of course, pre-UFC, before martial arts were really mainstream. Obviously, you had a kickboxing career, but it wasn't like super popular, especially in the United States. So I think the interesting thing in that era is we got to see real martial artists perform. because we couldn't really see it in the fight world that much, you know. But like this is where
Well,
you
they
can go
have,
to the video
but
store and watch a real martial artist beat up a bunch of guys.
because stunt guys can't do the martial arts. They do the high falls, they do the fire, they go through the windows, they do, car crashes. But stunt guys don't throw jump, spin, and back kicks.
Yeah,
So
maybe Stephen
I have
Lambert,
to
but
use
aside from
real
that,
martial arts in my movie. I had to use real martial arts in my movies because stunt guys just don't do that.
yeah,
And I always try to get the higher ranking and the more experienced. They didn't need to be famous, but they needed to be skillful because it's safer. If you're going to have somebody throw a punch at your or a kick at your face, do you want a green belt or do you want a black belt?
I'll take that
You know what I
black
mean?
belt.
I want a guy who's more experienced and he's more controlled. It's safer. It was just safer for me as a actor because what happens if you and it did happen one time. And it was a woman. I guess I can say her name because she's passed away. Kat Sassoon. She punched me and hit me and chipped one of my teeth, and I had to actually go to a dentist, get it bonded, and come back to keep shooting because you can't miss a day. There's thousands of dollars being spent every day of filming.
Sure.
And I was the star of the movie, and any little injury to the star. That's why they have stunt doubles, because a small injury, then the movie's all shut down.
That's a lot of money they lose, sure.
Yes. And now in Hollywood, that's why the guys like Tom Cruise, man, I'm sure they have nightmares with Tom, but they got to get a lot of the insurance. They probably pay a lot because he likes doing the stunts himself. He wants people to know everything he physically can do, he does.
Mm-hmm.
He running, jumping, climbing stuff. Yeah, he's crazy. It was Tom Cruise on that jet that took off.
That's pretty nuts, man. The Mission Impossible stuff. He does crazy stuff.
He's strapped to it, but still, you know what I mean? I mean, things go wrong, and I don't know. It was just he doesn't do it because they can't afford stuntmen. That's for sure.
He wants to do it. He's crazy.
Yeah, he wants to do it because I don't know. He feels I think he's doing it for his audience, his fans. He's not just having a stunt guy come in and do it. He's doing it, and yeah, I've only used a stunt double in one fight scene in 40 years.
Oh, really?
And it was a fight. It was a technique that I don't do. And my stunt double was James Liu.
Oh, okay.
Ring of Fire. It's the last technique of Ring of Fire. The bad guy takes a samurai sword, a katana, swings it as hard as he can. And I do I think they call it a butterfly kick. I don't know. It's a kick I don't do, but it's a kung fu kick. Sure. And you jump up in the air and you're like perpendicular, and the kick comes around and hits the guy. And the sword went under him. So once this martial artist, gosh, I can't remember his name right now, drawing a blank. But once he swings that sword as fast and as hard as he can, if your arm is hanging down or you don't jump up high enough, or you're going to get a sword right in the face.
Yeah.
And they're steel. Now they're not sharpened, and they
still gonna hurt.
Well, it's not going to be good. And luckily for me, I don't even do that kick, so I couldn't even try to do it. But James Liu came in, and that's the one stunt double I've had in 40 years in any fight action.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool trivia.
Yeah, James Liu was my stunt double, and he did a great job. And yeah, we're still friends now. And he worked on my brother came out to Hollywood and produced a movie called The Martial Art Kid, family film. James Liu was the choreographer for that.
Oh, really? Nice.
So we worked together again.
You fought James Liu in that Red Sun Rising?
You fought James Liu in Red Sun Rising.
Yeah, you fought him, sure.
Yeah, and he did a great job. Look, the good guy can only rise to the occasion if he's got a really good bad guy, right?
Sure, yeah.
And James Liu was a phenomenal bad guy. Probably the best bad guy in any of my movies was James Liu in Red Sun Rising. Yeah, he was a mystical guy. He had the death touch. And his character name was Jaho. And in the opening of the movie, the way they wrote the script is, it was an HBO world premiere. It was a real successful movie. I get my ass kicked by him in the opening of the movie. And when was the last time you saw a martial art action star like Chuck or Van Damme or anybody get their asses just kicked? Usually they don't, right?
Not
Seagal's never
usually.
even. I don't think Seagal has even taken a punch in one of his movies. Nobody even kicks him. He's like untouchable.
He's that good, man.
Even in the movies, I'm saying though.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
James Luke kicks my butt in the opening scene of the movie. Then in the last of them, but I get trained by Mako. Mako is my uncle. He trains me, and when I come back, it gives me someplace to go. And at the end of the movie, of course, James Luke gets his just rewards for the ass beating that he gave me.
Payback.
But anyway, that's one of my favorite films I did.